share firsthand why he and the musicians are so excited about our upcoming season, our live, in-person season. So we're really getting to do something new again, and it will be different, and we won't know exactly how it will all go because of the COVID thing that we live in, but we are ready. And who better to guide us forward with all of the changes that we've been experiencing than our very own Catherine Martin.
We first came back to the office. I put this on the wall. The symphony, in harmony, collaborating with a shared purpose, belonging. Nir is showing us how symphonic music is expansive, how it's inclusive, how it's timely. He is reconnecting us to joy. And this season, we invite you to be moved. And with that, please join me in welcoming Santa Barbara Symphony Music and Artistic Director and my dear friend, Nir Kabaretti.
I'm indeed very excited to share with you the season, and maybe it's a good moment also to say how it leads to bringing the season together. Now, the most important thing is what you, our audience, would like to hear. We are a symphony orchestra, so we are limiting our music offering to pieces that include symphony orchestra, and that means, a group of people that have the different families, the strings, the woodwind, the brass, the percussion. So, of course, what you would like to hear is very important to us. We also care about our musicians, what our musicians would like to play. And our first program in the season is actually a musical. Why a musical? There is no reason why not to play musical. After all, it is the exactly evolution that comes from the opera, then the opera goes to Singspiel and Operetta, and the musical is exactly the continuation of that. But to be quite honest, it's almost impossible, certainly for a regional orchestra like us, to put the funds and actually produce the musical. So this year we got a gift from a wonderful long-time supporter of the symphony. She produced that, Sarah Miller-McEwen, wanted to produce Kismet, and this is a gift to the community because this one production is about what we will spend for the entire season on artistic part. So alone we would not be able to do that. But we're so excited because mainly for the music.
In my hands, I'm a stranger in paradise, all lost in a wonderland, a stranger in paradise.
We have absolutely a dream team led by Lonnie Price, really one of the most awarded and beloved directors in Broadway. So it will be the most rehearsed production we ever put together. I'm talking about the State Street Ballet. That's fresh, new choreography by Bill Solo, and I know the energy that you will feel from the stage, the music, the colorful, the rhythms. You don't want to miss that. So after that, Kismet thought, okay, can we do something completely different, like totally the opposite? Can we go 180 degrees away from Kismet with baroque music? Had a phenomenal guest conductor, Nicholas McGeegan. We don't play often baroque music. Let's just go with the most important hits. So here's one of them, the Royal Fireworks by Georg Friedrich Händel, a German composer that actually moved to England. And this is a piece that was commissioned by King George II to celebrate the end of the war after the Austrian succession. The king was very decided what he wanted. He wanted a military band. 9 trumpets, 9 horn, 24 oboes, 12 bassoon, 2 kettle drums, and serpente, which is this kind of instrument that today would be the tuba. The same week in Paris, Rameau also had a commission to write a piece for the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle after the war. So the two protagonist countries, England and France, to commission pieces, which is so nice to know that the king was interested in commissioning a classical piece to end the war. And so what happened in London was the Royal Fireworks, and in Paris, the same week, they premiered an opera by Rameau, and it's called Nélis. Just to know how theatrical these people were, they used actually a wind machine, and we will be very authentic with that. You will see a wind machine on stage to accompany these beautiful dances from the Dante di Rameau opera, Nélis. And we also, it's an incredible opportunity for me to feature some of our musicians. See here how Eric, ignore 1 second my part of that, but just look at Eric. He's into musicians whenever I put it down with, and I always see him looking at me. This is what really a joy for a conductor. And we'll have a guest in town, this beautiful violin here. This instrument, created by Gogh, was kind of the same place in Cremona in Italy, a little place that had two of the most important violin makers of all time, Stradivarius and Guarnieri del Gesù. So this instrument was played by many important violinists, Zuckerman and Perlman, and Akiko Myers now own this beautiful instrument from 1741. And that leads us to February, and we have a program that connects nature and music, and there's a lot of connection between nature and music. And of course, everything in the nature has its rhythm, right? I mean, cycles of days and the sound of the ocean and the birds and things like that. And over the years, there's so many composers who were inspired to write music for nature. And maybe the most important in the classical period, next to maybe Vivaldi, the Four Seasons, is Beethoven and the Pastoral Symphony. It's the first time that a composer put in a symphony really an exact story. You know, the birds are here and we are sitting out on the river, and the farmer is going out and dancing, all of the feeling that the nature evokes in us. So when we wanted to do one of the most important pieces of classical symphony time, the Pastoral Symphony, I was looking for other pieces that would match that, and we found this beautiful piece by Jeff Beal, Big Circle, which talks about the nature of the circle with this water and fire and air and rebirth. Probably would recognize the music of Jeff Beal without knowing, because he's the master behind the House of Cards, and probably more known as Monk, the TV series of Detective Monk, and some beautiful, Hollywood scores that he wrote, but that was inspired by the different disasters that we had in our community, and the fires, the mudslides. And we will collaborate for the first time with the Botanic Garden, which will give us a lot of images from the Botanic Garden that will be presented during the music. So it's a sort of a multimedia concert, and it really will be a fascinating experience for all of us to connect the music to the image that we see. But before we get deeper in that, I would like also to say a few words about Jennifer Higdon, one of the most important composers in America. We played pieces of her before. She also was the teacher for composition in Curtis Institute, so a lot of the young generation studied composition with her. And again, another opportunity for us to feature our own heroes, and Michel Temple on the harp. And even more interesting that Michel was born in Santa Barbara.
So in addition, for the symphony to be able to work with partners like the State Street Ballet, with Kismet, we are now partnering with these three iconic Santa Barbara institutions, and we're very, very proud of that.
Symphony approached us with this project of bringing Marcus Robert Trio, who we long wanted in our Jazz and Libero series, to perform a concert the same week that he's performing with the symphony. Particularly the work he's doing with the symphony, the Gershwin concertos. The fact that he's going to be doing both of those in such a short amount of time, I think is really amazing.
Everyone knows that the garden is a beautiful place, but the truth is we're more than a beautiful garden. We have over 20 conservation staff that are working throughout the Central Coast on all 8 of the Channel Islands, up and down, to both diagnose and prescribe the solutions dealing with the loss of endangered species, the loss of our native habitat, and to ensure that we can make it through climate change. Over 100 different volunteers has been doing surveys in the Thomas Fire Zone to just study natural recovery of those systems, but also identify where nature needs a helping hand. I'm excited to be able to share that with a new audience. I'm also excited that we are going to be able to bring out Nir and some of the other folks from the symphony to come to the garden and to reach our own audience to talk a little bit more about what the symphony brings to town. So
Larry Feinberg is here with us too. Larry is the director and CEO of the Santa Barbara Museum of Art. It was so exciting to see that by chance, 2 of the symphony's programs, Sonic Boom and Romance in a New Key, have relevance to their exhibition that will be happening at the same time as those two performances. That exhibition is called Through Vincent's Eyes, Van Gogh and His Sources. So Nir's programs, and he'll talk about that in a second, feature composers who Van Gogh would have likely listened to and certainly been inspired by.
It was the Van Gogh exhibition, and I was so happy when Larry told me about that. I did some research and realized that the piece of Saint-Saëns was premiered in 1887. Van Gogh was in Paris between 1886 to 1888. And knowing how he was into music, how much he loved music, and he talks about how he was inspired by the music of Wagner and what the keys, the majors and the minor, the E flat and the G, how they for him make a significance in colors and this relationship. So I did not make enough research to know if Van Gogh actually attended the world premiere of the Third Symphony by Saint-Saëns, but they probably had seen each other. And we are so happy to have a duo, because they recorded, by the way, recently, at least that is all based on the repertoire that Saint-Saëns and Liszt plays together. So what they will play in the museum is part of this Liszt and Saint-Saëns, and so that's exactly the music that was played in Paris during the time of Van Gogh in Paris. And we also commissioned a piece, sort of transformation. It was first written by Robert Schumann as a quartet. Franz loved it and transformed it to a piano forehand. And Austrian composer Richard Dünser thought that, well, if it was already a string chamber music, then it was arranged to a piano forehand. How about I actually expand it to a piano forehand with an orchestra, so it becomes a sort of concerto. And this is a beautiful transformation from chamber music that became a symphonic piece, and of course matching it with another German masterpiece from the Romantic era, Mendelssohn, the Scottish Symphony, after he visited Scotland, Felix Mendelssohn, with a beautiful symphony, capturing the sound and the feeling that he had when he visited Scotland. American music and Gershwin piano concerto, but in a different version, again another transformation that we will hear, and that's led by Marcus Roberts and his trio. Marcus Roberts is one of the most important jazz players in the United States, actually worldwide. He was classically trained. Unfortunately, he lost his sight at the age of 5, so he's blind. Nevertheless, it never stopped him with developing his skills. He has his own adaptation of Gershwin piano concerto in F. The orchestra plays pretty much what Gershwin wanted, but then the piano part is divided with his trio combo, and these are really phenomenal musicians. You see also the Marsalis, the brother, the drums. Incredible honor for us to perform with them. I wanted to match it with something new, because this concerto is quite known, but something completely new for our audience. And this is a beautiful composer that I'm happy to perform, is Florence Price and her symphony. Now, this is a beautiful symphony. Again, you may say it's a little bit conservative. It was written in the 30s. It's very romantic. It relates easily to the music of Brahms and Schumann. So we are happy to perform Florence Price, a phenomenal composer that didn't get the importance, I think, she deserves in American music. So, as I said, we have a lot of music, different type of music, different eras, different genres, but all will feature our own symphony. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for allowing us to dream and to make this music, to bring this music to the stage.
And I just want to talk also about subscriptions and what it means to be a season ticket holder. Seeing the orchestra and Nir developing the orchestra concert to concert and from season to season. And so you become really engaged and committed to the organization and to the concerts in a whole new way.
We have a wonderful place to live, a beautiful place to enjoy music, wonderful theaters, great people. Buy a subscription or two, and just come and meet these wonderful people who make this possible.